Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go live on the website.
Oh, okay. I was about to do that too. So.
Yeah, I'll do that. So and can see if Facebook's not working for me either. So
I got it to work. I got it
okay.
to work. I posted like a picture saying we would go live at some point. But
Yeah.
like
So what? Yeah. So will you do like a live post saying that we're live?
what
The
time?
tech to text in to get alerted is 48421.
I'm not working anymore again.
What?
It's not working again.
Oh, okay. They got something wrong with their website. We'll keep trying. Um, it's 48421 is our text code. So you text hell to 48421 and it signs them up to get alerts when we go live.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna.
So just text that we're going live in like 5 minutes. I have it ready though. So I had it on, but then I had to change my, so I have to stop it.
What?
I had nothing, don't worry about it. Stuff from
Okay.
me. So. All right, Hellstalkers. This is Derek Klein, president of Hell Trace, coming to you live right now. We're tracking a pretty active afternoon underway with quite a few severe thunderstorms now developing across parts of South Carolina. At the tip of North Carolina and northern Georgia, we've got some big hail. We're mapping some storms now in parts of Alabama and especially across central and southern parts of Tennessee. So, again, it's breaking out into a pretty active afternoon. That seems to be the trend here, more hail than not when we get thunderstorms to develop. So, expecting this to actually continue for the next several hours through the afternoon and evening hours with some pretty intense, severe thunderstorms developing out ahead of this cluster. So, let's go ahead and start off. We're going to zoom in here and take a look at what's going on across parts of central Tennessee and then just work our way down the individual cells that are developing into areas north of Atlanta, Georgia, and then also into parts of South Carolina. So, we're going to start here. So we're going to zoom in here. This is not our high resolution radar, but this is just a radar showing you a general trend of what's going on across the area. And so what you can see here is we've already got storms that are producing golf ball size hail. They're going to have a tendency to kind of merge into this line. And what's going to happen is as individual storms develop out ahead of this line, these are going to be the storms that are going to produce the larger hail. Also, the storm on the southern end of this line is going to be capable of producing larger hail. And then at times, the storms in here will produce some hail, but the larger hail should be with the individual cells out in front of the line and the ones on the southern end of the line. And then, of course, these storms well out here in front of the line, they're really going to produce some pretty significant hail. So these will be the ones to really watch for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So we're going to take a look at the Nashville radar here, so we can get a good feel for exactly what's going on here. It looks like I don't have that radar loaded here, so let's get that loaded here real quickly. And so this is the area again. You can see all the severe thunderstorm warnings. You can see the bigger hail markers; those are the ones in blue here. And those are the areas that have the potential for larger hail. So the radar is actually picking up some larger hail. Let's zoom in on these individual cells and take a look at what we have going on. So you can see we've got clusters and pockets of hail, some of them larger than other areas. It's actually a pretty complex amount of activity that's ongoing here. So we've got radar estimating 2-inch hail with this storm. We've got radar estimating nearly baseball size with this storm. These are probably a little bit overdone. We're going to kind of zoom in and show you some of the different things that we look at when we go through each of these individual things with these particular storms. So let's take a look at them here. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer at each individual cell. This is exactly what we do when we're mapping storms, okay? So we actually break down each individual storm, gives us an idea of what that particular storm might do. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a look at the actual reflectivity of the storm, and then that's going to give us an idea by comparing it to other parameters that the radar picks up, what that storm is actually capable of producing. So the first storm that we have right here is going to be the storm moving towards the Columbia area, maybe the south side of Columbia. So it's moving off to the east-southeast, and this storm capable of producing potentially some quarters, probably some half dollars. It's a pretty nice little severe thunderstorm. It's out ahead of the line, but it is being absorbed into the line, and that's not allowing it to really take off, in full scale what it would be capable of if it was all by itself. Now we have this new cell going up, which is now again beginning to produce some hail. Looks like it's even got a chance at trying to produce some pretty big hail here. Just all of a sudden here, let's back this up a frame here. So you can see the hail really develop. So as it transitions out of this storm up here to the northwest, it was producing some big hail. It's got the lower CC values. That's the correlation coefficient. It's one of the things that we look at to see if there's large objects in the storm. We can take a look here at the algorithm to see what that actually pans out to, and you can see actually pretty accurately describing what's going on with this particular storm. But you can see exactly what's going on here with the storm. 2 different pockets showing in some different hail, and that's kind of what we're seeing on radar right now. And then we've got this new cell going up down here to the south. So this is Hampshire, this is Mount Pleasant, and all this stuff is moving in this general direction. It's also moving towards Columbia. So that's going to be the major populated area that we're going to be watching, is the Columbia area as these storms move off to the south and east. So let's take a look how they kind of radar in there. So you can see kind of the mergers, the storm going up out in front. So right now the big thing to watch is going to be this cell right here in front. It's got a nice clear inflow notch to it. It's got capable of producing some golf ball size hail for sure. This storm down here to the south, it's going to be a tough one for the guys up there in the Weather Center to actually map this storm, but it's directly off to the west of Lawrenceburg. It's going to be a tough one to map because of how much the radar's having to actually read through some of this stuff. So we'll actually probably try to pick it up from down here to the south if we can get one close enough. But those will be a couple things that we'll have to watch. And then we've got this cell, and this is the one that I think this one's producing some very large hail right now. You can see this little spike that comes off of the storm here near Cornersville. So just to the north of Cornersville and between Cornersville and Lewisburg, I just had a flash flood warning issued for this storm, so it's producing some heavy rain, but it's also producing at least golf ball size hail, if not a little bit bigger. So in the range of that 2-inch size range being produced right now with this particular storm. I'm going to try to stay over here in the chat as well so I can kind of keep an eye on and see what's going on. We've got John in the chat right now as well. So if you guys have questions, if there's anything that we can do, please let us know. We're definitely more than happy to help you with any questions or anything that we can do. So, but again, back to this storm here. So the storm between Cornersville and Lewisburg, definitely producing probably the largest hail of all the storms currently in this batch. And then the next one up here near Waynesboro really looks like it's got some pretty decent hail in it as well. So so these are the 2 storms right now in Tennessee, at least in this part of Tennessee, that we definitely want to keep our eye on. Let's see if this storm near Cornersville is actually moving towards anything. So we're heading the general direction of Petersburg and Lynchburg. That's going to be the general direction of everything. So So we'll be watching those storms as they develop in that general direction. Let's go down here and take a look at Atlanta, because we have one storm in particular that's really going to town, or has been. Let's see how it's doing. So it's not moving at all. Look at this. This is impressive. Okay, so we have loaded here. We're going to load some more frames onto this, but just south of Cleveland. Let's see if there's anything in this area here. We're gonna take off the radar. Oop. Take off something on here. All right, so we are going to put this on this. There we go. That'll help us out a little bit. Okay, so it's just south of Cleveland, north of Claremont, and the storm, it honestly hasn't really moved at all. I mean, the hail core has kind of wavered in and out of the actual location. This radar image, this is about where it starts. So this is when we start to produce some big hail here. I'm going to actually switch this so we can see how big the hail actually gets. So this is when it's just now starting to drop some quarters here to the north of Claremont. Back up here off of S115 is the road coming out of Cleveland. So for those of you familiar with that area, that's where we're looking at. This is 129 that runs from Claremont up into Cleveland. Okay, so this storm, though, literally, it doesn't move. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because it never moves. But it's dropping golf ball size hail. It's dropping big hail right there. Look at, remember we just talked about the spike? There it is right there coming off the radar. Big hail falling in this area right now. Probably in the neighborhood of 2-inch, I would say. And it's actually now beginning to kind of weaken as it very slowly edges off to the south. If we look at a time frame, 1958 to 2040, is that really an hour? Yes. I mean, that storm didn't really move a whole lot in like an entire hour, which is kind of crazy. Now we've got a new storm. Man, look at this one up here in South Carolina now. This thing is going to town. This is some pretty significant hail here. I'm gonna smooth this out for you guys. I think you probably like that view a little bit better. But yeah, this one's dropping some definite golf ball size hail now in South Carolina. So again, we kind of talked about this actually yesterday. We launched our 5-day forecast. Give us some thumbs up in the chat room. Let us know that you like the 5-day forecast. We'll keep that thing coming. It takes a little bit of time for us to push that out, but if you guys like it, we'll keep doing it. Hey Ingrid. All right, so okay, so again, golf ball size hail right now just to the north of Greenville. Let's see if this storm is moving at all. It's moving a little bit, better than the other storm. So it came out of North Carolina. Wasn't quite going yet. Redeveloped to the south. Here we go. We start to see some hail develop in the storm. Radar picks it up. Now it first begins to fall, and then we start kind of going to town here on these last 3 frames. Probably making a run at and exceeding golf ball size hail now, just to the east of Slater, to the north of Travelers Rest, and moving off again to the south and east. So this is going to be moving in the general direction of Greer, and we're going to want to watch this. So it's getting ready to move into a fairly highly populated area. They've got it warned for quarter-size hail, and I think it's all 70-mile-an-hour winds. I don't say the wind, I guess. Thought I saw 70, but so they've got it warned for quarter-size hail. 50-mile-an-hour winds is what they got. It's probably, that was when the warning was issued, it was probably at quarter-size hail. It's dropping bigger than quarter-size hail now. All right, so let's go back over here. This storm's still going over here. Yeah, we're still dropping hail north of Claremont. Again, the storm is coming down a little bit. Let's see if we've got anything else going on here. We're going to go, this guy's just now developing. We've got a severe thunderstorm up here north of Chattanooga. We're going to have to switch radar sites to take a look at that. Let's jump over there and see what we got going on with that particular storm. So these 2 storms trying to go up. They haven't had a whole lot of luck yet. We've got this one moving down to Georgia near Trenton, not really producing anything. This one's not doing a whole lot right now either. Might have been a little bit ago. Let's back this up and see if we, yeah, there we kind of spiked up there real quick. Took off, dropped some quarters, some half dollars probably. Was on its way to making golf balls. We'll see if it can get its act back together. Let's take a look at some of these storms up here in Tennessee from a different radar view. So you can see the Cornersville storm here looks quite a bit different when you look at it from a completely different angle and different radar. And we're really probably about the same distance away as well. So let's take a look at it here. Yeah, so this storm, again, a really nice structure to this storm, and it's producing some decent size hail right now in the Cornersville area and just to the north and west of Cornersville. And then we've got, again, our main lineup here, our main show up to the northeast, completely lined out with severe thunderstorm warnings. High winds really going to become a pretty big threat with this cluster. So expect to start seeing more reports of wind damage, more reports of high winds, and smaller hail start to come out of this. And then we're going to be watching these individual cells out in front of the line. Now, it feels like the Huntsville radar here is really trying to increase, or it's really showing smaller sizes on hail right now. So we'll have to kind of determine if that's a depiction from that particular radar not analyzing the storms properly, or if it's a different angle. So if we come at these from the Nashville radar just to the north, a little bit further away, you can see it picks up these storms a lot different. So it's looking at them a lot different than what it is from the north. So we'll have to kind of look at that. We'll get a feel for which ones actually come in accurately and make sure that those are mapped according to how they are. But that's kind of where you can get into some of those problems with the radar not actually analyzing the storms properly. And we're able to see that there are some different variations in what the radar is actually outputting. My assumption would be is that the Nashville radar is probably overdoing it a little bit. Huntsville might be underdoing it a little bit, so it's probably somewhere in the middle. But we'll have to keep keeping an eye on that for sure. Let's jump back over here to Greer, because I think that's the that may be the next storm that we really need to watch if it can. Let's see here. All right, so yeah, so this storm really continues to develop here. A little smaller hail signature just now kind of came out of it, so we'll see if that trend continues or if that's just kind of a hiccup from the radar. Sometimes that's a hiccup from the radar. But right now it looks like, again, just to the east of Slater still. So it's a slow mover. It's not moving real fast. It is at least moving though. And let's try to set a projection on this. That'll also help us analyze the hail size a little bit better. Again, it's probably going to move here just to the south of Greer, in between Greer and Greensville. I just have a new update on the warning here. Let's see if they're still thinking quarter size. Nope, they've upgraded it to golf ball size hail now, and I would agree with that for sure. Now the question is, will it continue to produce that golf ball size hail? That's always the $10 million question, or in some cases, $1 billion question. Okay, let's see here. So we're going to back this up and set a trajectory on it. This will actually allow the algorithm of the radar to pick this up a little bit differently. And so it'll basically adjust the track and help us come up with a, just moved on me. Help us kind of come up with a better track and a better algorithm to actually analyze the storm a little bit better. So you can see it just adjusted it over just a little bit. It didn't change it a whole lot, but it did adjust it over just a tad. And again, still pretty much in this general direction from here to our dot, which if we continue that with our hail marker, it comes right in through this area. So right in the middle of Greer and Greenville. And it looks like what we've got going on right now is we've got the storm maybe trying to split here or at least trying to recycle the updraft into this region of the thunderstorm. If we actually look at this from this standpoint right here, you're going to see kind of that split trying to develop right in here. So let's set up a little bit more color here. There we go. So you can see the new core trying to develop right here, the old core right over here, and everything kind of shifting over from that spot right there. All right, so let's go back over here, switch us back in. So the question's going to be here real quickly, and we're going to watch this for the next frame or two. If it decides to take off, we'll follow this thing live through the Greer area from basically right around Taylor's, really. If it decides to weaken, then we'll probably stop the live stream. Maybe that'll help fire it back up again for us. Again, we've got this storm over here in northern Georgia, which has produced golf ball size hail, 2-inch hail, basically in the same location for a really, really long, almost an hour. Kind of impacted the same location, but never really moved. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning now over here to the north. This is going to be near Dalton. Let's take a look at Dalton, because that is a fairly populated area there, running up and down I-75 out of Georgia to Chattanooga. Of Atlanta to Chattanooga, I think we need to take a look at that storm for sure. So let's go over here. Let's take a look from the Nashville radar. Maybe right here. We're going to switch it over to Huntsville now. We're going to take a look at this storm that's impacting the Dalton area. See how this thing looks. So again, looks like, yeah, definitely increasing its hail signature right on top of Dalton. Let's back it up here. You can see it's really just now developing. Really fired up there on that last frame. Watch how you see that it's already picking up the hail right here just to the north of Dalton. That's why we've actually got a hail marker on it, but really not a whole lot of precip falling. If we look at a 3D model of this storm, you can see it's really tall. Not a lot of pink in there yet, but it's tall, and so the radar's picking up that and trying to create some hail with it. Then as we go forward, boom, that's when it starts to starting to drop some stuff. Still growing in size though, so we're going to have to watch this one. If it moves slowly enough off to the south and east, could create some hail in Dalton, more than likely just to the east of Dalton. So we're going to have to keep a real close eye on that. Those are probably the two storms to keep our closest eye on right this second. Most of this in a fairly rural area. If we look over here, whoops, didn't mean to do that. So if we look over here, Columbia was one of the locations to kind of watch out for. We had some quarter-size hail, matches up. Again, the biggest hail was actually to the south of Lynchburg. So storm generally moving in the direction of Petersburg. So we'll have to keep watching that closely. Let's go back over here. Let's take a look at on radar. All right, so let's keep an eye on our storm here in the Greer area. So the marker came up just a tad on this last frame. So we'll see. Like I said, it looked like it was trying to cycle, which would have a tendency to make the hail size come up. If that's the case, what we're going to find is again, that hail size will come up on the next frame or two. Then the hail should begin to fall in the next 10 to 15 minutes, which would put that somewhere probably at the pace that it's moving just to the north of Taylor's. So we're going to have to keep watching this frame by frame as it moves fairly close to Taylor's, and kind of give us an idea of exactly how that's actually tracking. All right, so we've got ball size hail along Highway 75. That all makes perfect sense for sure. Okay, let's take this back over here. So if we actually go back over here now, let's take a look at the Dalton storm. Let's see, that's Greer. All right, so here's our Dalton storm, and now you can see it's actually starting to to drop. Some of that pink is now beginning to fall out. Now our CC values haven't really dropped a whole lot, so that tells me a couple of things. It tells me that there is some hail falling, but it doesn't look like it's real big. The KDP or the ZDR is going to kind of tell me if it goes all gray, then we have a really high volume of hail. I wouldn't expect a high volume of hail quite right out the chute. I expect a lot of rain to be kind of mixed in as that storm continues to mature and intensify, and that's kind of what we've got right now. So we've got, that there is some hail in the area. It's just not real big yet. So everything here makes perfect sense with what we're looking at. All right. So we'll kind of keep an eye on this a little bit more. Don't see a whole lot of changes with anything right this second. Again, some of these storms producing some really nice hail. We'll see, again, if they can actually move into an area where it means something or not. But again, the storms to watch the closest are going to be these storms that develop out in front. The ones on the southern end of the line are going to be the next in line to be watching out for. And then, of course, these storms well out here in front, they're not going to have a whole lot of competition. Dalton storm not really showing signs of really trying to take off. We might get a quarter or two out of it. We'll have to watch it. It's close. Again, our big storm that we really want to focus on, and if this storm dies out, I think our live feed dies out with it, but would be the storm over here in Greer. So let's just kind of keep eyeing this one, because I think this one's the one that is the closest to anywhere. That's for sure right now. Question is will it actually move over anything here? So if you look, these CC values are really low in this storm. So I think it has the potential to have some pretty large objects falling out of it. The hail size continues to go up now, so we're now running up on the golf ball size from radar estimates. Just going to look at a couple different fields here on this one. I think it's stretching out here too. All right, so I bet we still got a warning here for golf ball size hail. It's all radar indicated. We don't have any reports, but definitely I think we're making a run at golf ball size hail in this storm. It's got some really low CCs, which just lets me think that there's some pretty decent size hail in this storm. The hail markers continue to go up in it. The pink really beginning to kind of fall down now. So those are all signs that we're producing some pretty good hail. Yes. Yeah, I just saw the report just showed up. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. All right, bye. All right, so there we go. We've been talking about golf ball size hail. That was my weather center just calling me to tell me that the report just came in. And again, that's kind of what we've been talking about is that type of hail size here. And now we have a report to confirm it. So again, the pink areas definitely an easy highlight spot for this one. But if we look at the CC values, it shows us that all these blues and greens that match up in this area right here, that's big hail. So it makes perfect sense when you get these values that kind of bottom out. It produces large hail. So right now, we've got golf ball size hail falling, potentially making a run at 2-inch hail, if not already 2-inch hail. And this is State Highway 253 running north out of the Taylors, Wade Hampton. Not for sure exactly what this area would be considered. Greenville, running north out of this area. The storm is V-lining right at Taylors right now. So Taylors, you're gonna have some hail moving in your general direction as we speak. over the next 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're in that area, probably less than that, probably 10 to 15 minutes. Hail beginning to move into that area. We're going to, with our texting customers, we'll be sending out alerts. The way that those will actually work, let's switch this frame here. The way that those text alerts that we send work is when it moves into these neighborhoods right here, we're going to start texting out intersections. So we'll send out one for here. And as it moves to the south, we'll send out another one for here. So it keeps you alerted to know exactly what's happening. It's a little different than the live stream for those of you getting the live feed. But again, this storm now producing golf ball size hail. Again, I think it could be potentially making a run at 2 inches. It seems to be trying to intensify as it continues to move into the Greer area. Now, we're going to move, and we're going to pick up here. So what's going to happen is it's moving towards the radar. So for a lot of services, this is actually a difficult position to be in because the radar is not going to be able to scan the storm. So let's take a look at that. This is a great way to actually look at that. So here's a look at the scan, and notice how it basically just cuts off. So what's happening is the radar doesn't have the ability, and we can kind of swing this around to see different viewpoints of it, the storm itself. But as we get away, notice it picks up a little bit higher viewpoint. But the closer that we get, the radar doesn't have the ability to pick up this part of the storm. And so when it doesn't pick it up because it's so close, it's unable to see what's going on in that storm. So this is kind of interesting. So we drew a line. Here's the line right here. And notice the radar sees the big hail back here. Well, that's because it can scan the entire storm. But in all actuality, the big hail is falling right down in here. So it's actually being picked up in the wrong location by the radar, but actually falling out in this location right now. Okay, so here's where the big hail is falling again, right in here. There is some big hail back here as well. I'm not saying that it's not falling back there, but it's definitely falling here, moving into to the Taylor's area now as we speak. So we're going to switch back, and we're actually going to look at a couple different frames now that are going to be able to help us kind of keep an eye on what this particular storm is doing. So as it gets closer to the radar, it becomes harder and harder for most to actually keep track of that. But here at HailTrace, the way that we do it actually makes it nicer because these bottom scans pick up the storm better than the top scans. So we can actually tell better what's going on with that storm, where it's actually falling, than if it was far away from the radar. So again, right now moving into the Taylor's area, this is the golf ball size hail falling. Just to briefly show you, we've also got two other storms now. This one is about to go severe near Inman, and this storm near Seneca is also going severe. So we're going to go take a look at those here in just a moment. And so we've got, let's see here. So we've got, again, near the Taylor's area. So it's moving directly south. It's moving slow, so we keep talking about the same area. But the storm, it's gonna have a 10-minute hail time, if not longer, which is a pretty impressive hail time. So let's look at this here. So it looks like it's producing a pretty decent amount of hail as well. Look at all the gray built in here in this pink. That's a decent amount of hail coming all the way down to just the north side of Taylor's. The CC values have bottomed out all the way down to the front edge of this pink here. And then the thing that we need to see, so again, like I said, the radar is not going to pick up the hail size until you get back here. But the big hail is actually falling out in front of this storm as well. And here's how we're going to be able to determine that. So this is something that helps us just kind of look at the volume of what this storm is actually producing. And you can see, so what will happen is this will actually stay consistent with the storm. So we talked about how the storm was actually intensifying. And so you can see here, see how it's, even though it's getting closer to the radar, it's actually able to still show that intensification. So that's what's really huge with this particular product. Let's look at a different, I think this is a different way that I can kind of show you that here. So as it gets closer here, watch. So it intensifies, but then as it gets too close right here, it actually weakens it over here. And that's what the radar is going to have a tendency to do as the storm moves in. But with this product right here, it doesn't do that. It actually still shows that this is still an intense part of that thunderstorm. And so we can kind of track that severity of that storm. If we feel like it's getting worse, we can raise the size of hail. If it's getting less, we can actually lower the size of hail. And that helps us keep up to date with what's actually going on with that particular thunderstorm. So the other thing, again, at the surface, that's the key. We want to track what's happening at the surface with this thunderstorm. And the best way to do that is you have your base reflectivity. So that's going to pick it up. Look, the hail marker's getting bigger still. So even back here, it's producing the hail. It's dropping it all along the front flank of this thunderstorm here. And so again, dropping it all along the front flank of this particular thunderstorm. And then right here, these low CC values, right, all across the front of this thing, showing us that there's big hail falling all the way back to the back of this thing. So, I mean, anything in this pink right now, there it goes up again. So it just continues to get stronger and stronger here. The direction actually seems to, it's almost stalled here again. So it's definitely back building back here, but it's still producing up here in the front. Let's see if we can set a pace here. So what I want to do, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of loop this radar, see if we can get an idea of the movement, because the movement seems to have changed over the last few frames where we're seeing the storm almost have a tendency to kind of stretch out. And it's not, so when it does that, it's not giving us, because it's slowing down, it's not giving us a good adjustment as to how the storm's actually moving. So what we want to do is we want to see how it's moving, and then it just almost stops right here. Kind of interesting. And that's how the storm in Georgia was doing. Started producing some big hail, and then it just quit. Direction and everything just literally just stopped. All right, let's see here. So we are, and it looks like still producing big hail, even here in this red area here, producing big hail, still producing big hail all up and down the back side of the storm, and up and down the front side. Now moving into the Taylor's area here. Looks like we've got some big hail falling, yeah, right through here. Let's yeah, there's a lot of hail in there too. All right, so yeah, you can see, so we're just kind of getting an idea here, and we got some big hail now beginning to move in here to the Taylor's area. Now, I don't know how long this big hail is going to last. That's the question, is where, so what we want to see, and it's more difficult, we can see it a lot better when we're actually out in the field, but obviously we can't be everywhere at once. So the question is what is the what's the general direction? Where's the updraft region of this thunderstorm, and how is it actually stretching that out to the rest of this thunderstorm? So let's take a look here. Let's go 3D mode here. There you can see there's the cutoff, right, of how that storm's developing. It's kind of a funny looking little thunderstorm, but it looks like the updraft is right back here. So let's see here. It's got kind of a little hole right in here, but with some big hail up above it. And then hail falling down right here. Let's see if we can, let's expand this a little bit so it looks a little better for you guys. And then let's hone in here just a little bit more, and let's try to loop it and see. Okay, yeah, so you can see, again, we don't have the top, so it's kind of hard to see how this thing's actually progressing. Is it getting stronger? Is it not getting stronger? But it does look like we are producing golf ball size hail right on the edge of Taylor's right now. And so if we look here, let's look at some different values. So still again here, we're gonna just kind of flipping through a lot of different things here. This is how you analyze these storms, just frame by frame. There, see there, percentage of severe hail. Look at that. The radar doesn't think there's a great chance of severe hail on this thing. Again, partially because it can't read it properly. You can see because it's getting the top chopped off, it's not able to read this storm properly. So, but here's what we've got going on. We can see still producing high volumes of hail right here into the north side of Taylor's. And again, it's almost stalled out, but it's again in this white area pretty much. This is about where the big hail. I think if we kind of ran didn't mean to do that. If we ran a cursor here along this, so from about right here, so just to the north, so from about right here, the center part of this white, all the way back, this is where the big hail is actually occurring with this particular thunderstorm. And then it tracks basically and bends back up behind it. Give me 1 second here. Whoop. All right, so here we go. So we are again storm in the Taylor area, really going to town here, producing some large hail. There we go. So we can still see the low CC values coming in here to the north side of Taylor. Again, about halfway up through. Through this area here is where the this white area, and it's basically right through this white area. I mean, the white area is almost, except for this end right here, it's a little, wouldn't quite be that large of hail. Okay, so we've got, so from right about here all the way back, this is where you're going to be able to see some of that big hail. Let's see, when was the last time we got a radar update? I feel like we're about 3 minutes behind, so we should have a new radar update actually coming out here any minute. Let's see what the ground, and all still, I mean, storm's almost completely stalled out, but probably isolated large hail now over into this area. Let's see here. Zoom out here. Let's see here. So we still got this guy trying to go up. There's a new one back here trying to go up now. These two are still definitely developing. This one's still severe over here in Georgia. Our storm by Dalton. There you go. We said it might drop some quarters. It dropped $0.50. So nice little report there coming in the Dalton area. So again, the main storm here. Let's take a look at from a national perspective here and see what we've got going on. So again, all the activity right now, severe threat diminished, pretty much gone back here in Missouri and Arkansas, eastern or western Tennessee. You're in the clear. It's done and over with. Oklahoma, you were pretty unstable today, but couldn't break through the cap and create a thunderstorm. But your day's coming up here Friday and again on Sunday. Look pretty active in Oklahoma. But here we go. So again, central Tennessee, southern Tennessee. Some of these are going to clip the northeastern corner of Alabama, and they're going to move into the northern parts of Georgia. And then we're going to, up in the Greenville, Greer area, we're going to be fighting some pretty good hail up into that part of the country as well. So we've got the line of thunderstorms here. It's mainly inside of the line. We're going to have pockets of quarter to potentially $50 size hail. Some pretty decent winds are going to start to develop if they haven't already. So some winds 60 to 70 miles per hour. And we're going to have individual storms out ahead of this line that are going to develop and have the potential to produce some large hail. So Here's one of them here, and then we've got several across northern Georgia into parts of South Carolina. So let's go back in here. Let's take a look at the Greer radar site. This is where all the action's going on right now. And so if we kind of zoom in here, the storm really, like I said, just kind of stalled out. It's just completely quit moving. So not any movement at all. Still producing some hail almost in the exact same location, and so yeah, so just dropping that hail in almost the exact same location, just on the north side of Taylor's. Probably still producing some golf ball size hail. We're looking at several different things because it's so close to the radar. It's making it tough for the radar to actually pick up what's going on. But this is what we've got going on. Is this area near Taylor's having some, again, in this white area basically is where it is, getting some pretty significant hail. So that's the big key. That's the big takeaway. The big hail right here in this white area. This is where we're getting it right now, and probably the back half of it. So we're about right here, all the way back. There's several different parameters that we can look at, but right in here we've got the lower CCs all the way over to the north side of Taylor's, producing the large hail. We should see some reports come in, I would anticipate, but they may or may not. We've already sent text alerts out to our clients, letting them know exactly where it is. And so everybody knows what's going on with that. If you're a customer of HailTrace, you know exactly where to go. And if you haven't, make sure to let us know, because you should for sure. Let's see if we've got anything on here. And let's see. So back in Cleveland, some big hail just a few minutes ago. Let's go take a look at that storm for you guys over there in Cleveland. All right. So that guy's going to be let's see here. Here are the Huntsville radar site. There we go. So this storm actually swelled back up. So we went away from it. The team's been watching it, but so you can see we went away from it, and then boom, it swelled back up. Dropped some pretty significant hail. Let's look at the CC values here. We can see they kind of dropped down on the storm right there. Boom, they drop down. The big hail begins to fall, especially on the eastern side of Cleveland. And there it is. Quick one shot, one and done. Still actually hailing in Cleveland. So we're watching some storms there. We've got Lewisburg, Tennessee, getting some big hail, it looks like. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's see here. I think we talked about that one a little bit ago. Yeah, here we go, Lewisburg. Again, these storms have been right here on the front edge of this line. Those have been the ones. Chapel Hill, this storm's going to be a close one to watch as well. So these storms, as they develop out ahead of the line, they're the ones that are producing the large hail for sure. So these are the storms to be watching. You can see the pocket right up in here, the lower CC values, again, indicating that the larger objects actually going on inside of that storm. So let's go ahead and take a look back over here to Greer, see if we have any changes with that. And we've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings over here. Oop, we're on the Huntsville radar. Here we go. Okay, so if we swing back over here to Greer now, again, we've still got several storms going on. This one going on right here. We've got a new golf ball report that came in up here in the Cleveland area. This is in Cleveland, South Carolina, from a little bit earlier. So some big hail came in Cleveland, Tennessee, and Cleveland, South Carolina today. This storm still producing large hail in the Taylor's area. If we look here on the velocity mode, you can see not really any drawback on that. You can see this one's drawn back because it's gotten so close to the radar. but right here it hasn't. So it tells me that the big objects are still in this storm. They're still falling. The low CCs are telling me right where it's at. So it's right here, almost directly over Taylor's now. So again, golf ball size hail directly over Taylor's right now. And more storms back here to the west. You can see here's the lower CCs north of Walhalla, I guess that's how you'd say that. That storm again moving off to the southeast. They're trying to move in the general direction of Seneca. A lot of these storms not really moving a whole lot though, so they're kind of parking and not doing anything. Here's some of our hail reports coming in for the Cleveland area now. Again, we've mapped up to 2-inch hail in the Cleveland area, so a lot going on now. So these storms we talked about it, that they kind of fire, they develop all the way out into South Carolina. We'd have a lot of hail to talk about. We've got it now. Again, the big storm right now, the biggest area of population that is being hit is in the Greer, in between Greer and Greenville in the Taylor's area. So again, still producing golf ball size hail in this area, and the storm is not moving. So it's just sitting there and it's producing hail without really moving a whole lot. So it's going to continue to produce that hail and not move a whole lot. So it's gradually, very, very, very slowly moving off to the south. Very slowly. This thunderstorm back over here was near Claremont earlier. Now going back up again. So intensity is on the way up again with that particular thunderstorm. So we're going to keep making that go back up. All right, let's jump over here. So I've got Cleveland now, the storm moving away from Cleveland here. Let's switch back over here to Huntsville so we can kind of see what we've got going on. Storm still producing some big hail, but now pulling out away from the Cleveland area and dropping off to the south and east. The Dalton storm is kind of falling apart there. We've got these little guys here that just kind of keep pulsing up and down but never really take off. And then we've got, again, storm now moving past Lewisburg here. So we had some reports of hail in Lewisburg from some different reporters, storm spotters. Thunderstorms moving through Nashville, but not too significant right now. But again, this is turning into a wind event now with the larger hail on the supercells on the front end of the storm. So let's go back here and take a look. See what we've got going on here. So again, Cleveland, Tennessee right there. These are really our biggest storms right now. Going to be this guy right here, this one right here. These will quickly be shoved in. This is Nashville right here, so just south of Nashville near Chapel Hill. These will quickly be sucked into this line, and they may try to pulse up right as it happens, and then they're done. They go into this line. The line really not even producing much in the way of quarter-size hail. It's only the individual storms out in front that are producing that. But again, some high wind is definitely possible with this particular line. I think that's probably what they're wanting to talk about right here. Yeah, definitely talking about widespread wind damage. Winds 50 to 70 miles per hour, pretty common. So that's going to continue. These individual storms, these will go up. Some of them might get sucked into the line. More than likely what will happen as the sun sets, these will actually slowly fade and die out. But in the meantime, they're going to continue to produce golf ball size hail pretty commonly. We're getting some more reports here of golf ball size hail from this particular storm up here near the Taylor's area, still producing golf ball size hail as we speak. Over Taylor's, let's go back to our high resolution radar. On here at Greer, go back over to the Taylor's area. See how this guy's doing, and we'll switch this over here to the CC values. And yeah, they're still down there, and it's right over Taylor's now. Again, the radar unable to see the entire storm, so it's not going to be able to scan it properly. But we are producing golf ball size hail in the Taylor's area as we speak. So this thing continues to get strong, continues to strengthen, and we're just going to continue watching this here as it pops the area. if you will. So the Taylor's Rest area, so we can actually wind this back here and see it didn't actually hail. So this is, again, this is your typical spotter report, right? Comes in, boom, right there. Hail to golf ball size covering the ground. That's exactly what we're expecting. Slow moving thunderstorm, dropping a lot of hail. You can see it was actually to the north of the Taylor's Rest area, so it didn't actually hit them. But in Taylor's, we're now right underneath this storm, and we're still getting golf ball size hail with this storm in the Taylor's area. Other storms right now going on, not really impacting a whole lot, so don't have much of a reason to really focus on them. Let's jump over. Let's take a look at the storms as we map them. I think that's always something fun to kind of take a look at here. Give me 1 second here. We'll actually load up the particular storms. All right, so we're gonna pull this guy over here now. Okay, so you can see here. So this is the website right here. This is actually where the meteorologists are mapping these storms live as they move through the area here. So here's our line that produced all the big hail. Now, like I said, you can see it's kind of not producing as much hail now, and that's because it's moved into that linear mode. Here's our storm back over here in the Gainesville area. This is the one that produced the big golf ball size hail for sure right over there. The storm never really even moved. Then we've got our storm back over here in the Greenville area, and so we're actually mapping this down now into this area. So you can see where we've got it kind of cut off here, cut off right here. This will actually get updated live as they continue to progress this storm. So it's a slow mover, so we're just kind of looking at it and moving it forward. Got some huge hail reports coming in from the Cleveland area. Some definite 2-inch hail. Yeah, these are some nice reports here. So let's see here. Show you. I don't know if you can see that. So this is coming in right now from the Cleveland area. So that's 2-inch hail. So these storms mean business. We should have a red area going in on this one here in the Greer area very soon. And let's see here. So there's our storm that we talked about in the Dalton area. You can see this storm here in the Cleveland area. Again, continues to drop hail. Let's see here. So Lewisburg area getting hit with some big hail. You can see these two storms actually crossing some of the similar areas. So yeah, so lots of storms going on. Let's go ahead and move this back out of the way here. Let's go ahead and jump back in here. So our storm back up here to the north now beginning to take off. There's your 1.25 inch report for the Taylor's area. Storm just really just not moving at all. It's gonna pulse up and down with big hail. This area, let's see kind of how it's. So it looks like it's kind of getting broken up here a little bit. So maybe on the downswing of things here as it kind of moves towards the Wade Hampton area, really just almost backing up. Crazy how that works sometimes. All right, so we're going to take a quick break here. I've been going live now for quite a while, so we'll take a quick break. Again, the storm's not moving a whole lot, so we'll basically jump back in here in just a little bit. I'm going to actually leave the radar up for you guys, though, so you can see kind of what's going on. Here's that storm again, still going on, going crazy here in the Cleveland area. All right, so we're going to zoom this in just a little bit too much. Okay, so we'll leave that kind of right in that area there for you. And we're going to leave this live, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, so I am back here now, and again, big hail continues to be ongoing. Loud noise here. Check this out. This is one of our customers, exterior genies, Evan here. Check it out. Look at this. So he was in the area of Taylor's. We were just talking about it, and he decided he wanted to drive into the area that I was talking about live, and he ran into golf ball size hail. A lot of it, actually. Listen to it. Pretty awesome. Good stuff. I'll turn that off so you guys can actually hear me talk here a little better. Let's figure this out here. There we go. So, big hail. It's actually still, so I've been gone now for about 15, 20 minutes. I went up to the weather center, took a look at some different things going on. We're going to have a 3 to 4 star map. We're not for sure if it's made it to 4-star for the Greer, South Carolina area. We're also going to have a 4-star for sure map for parts of Tennessee. So there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of maps to come out. We're going to have some stuff in Georgia. We've seen pictures and video of hail so the area up here near Clermont. Cleveland's actually about to get hit again, or is being hit again right now as we speak. But the area of Clermont, right in here where we said that storm stalled for almost an hour, we've seen pictures of hail piled up like knee deep. Tons and tons of hail. I've seen pictures of hail in the Greer area. Tons, high volume of hail where it looks like it snowed outside. Cleveland, Tennessee, this is going to be probably one of the better storms of the day, if not the best storm of the day. We'll have to see how things continue to pan out here, but the Cleveland, Tennessee area impacted with a lot of 2-inch hail, probably a few bigger than that, probably in the 2.5-inch range. So there's definitely been a lot of big hail from several areas, and that threat continues. These storms continue to move off to the south and east. Again, the wind threat really increasing up here with this line, but these individual cells out here in front and across the Chattanooga area down to north of Atlanta over to the Greer area, they continue to produce a lot of golf ball and 2-inch hail. That's pretty much been the max size. Let's go ahead and look at some radar here from some of these different locations, kind of see what we've got going on. So check this out. Our storm over the Greer area is basically idled into the area and then just stalled. Let's take a look and see. So it's still producing hail. It does look like the hail size is coming down right now. So the hail size is not as high as it was on this storm. I would actually anticipate that we're probably dropping down into the quarter range now. We've had a bunch of reports of golf ball size hail that have kind of streamed in. And now we're getting some quarter reports, and I think that we're kind of limiting and dropping down in that size to quarter size hail now with this storm. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to go back up again, but as we speak right this second, hail sizes come down just a little bit as it moves into the Greer area. So again, moving into Greer as we speak, producing quarter size hail. Looks like maybe even in 2 different pockets. And then we've got this storm that's developed up here to the north that's actually dropping south. It's running into them. Maybe what's causing the weakening of this storm as it drops to the south and runs into this area. So again, these storms, they mean business. They've been dropping a lot of golf ball size hail. If we kind of zoom in on this area, you can still see the quarters coming down right in here. Radar picking it up nicely. Probably still $1.25 in this storm up here to the north as well. We'll see if these are able to kind of pulsate. It was dropping some better hail up here to the north and actually is kind of weakened just a little bit. But a bunch of reports of golf ball size hail have come in on this storm. They're actually covered up with this most recent quarter size hail report. But they are there, and so we do have the activity. So looking back out here to the west now, let's actually switch radars to do so. So we're going to go, let's look at Huntsville. So we have a tornado warning. Not too much of a surprise here. Some little rotation pockets up ahead of this line. Again, this line, not anticipating a whole lot of hail. We're going to have to watch this back here. So this storm showing signs that it's wanting to intensify as well back here just to the south of the Chattanooga area now. So near Trenton, Georgia. That's where we're looking at right now. So Trenton here, Morganville right here, running right down in between the two. This is I-59. and this is U11. So kind of doing the split here, going up into the Chattanooga area. For those of you familiar with that area. And again, so some bigger hail trying to develop here. So this is a new storm now beginning to develop. We've got the storm that produced the significant hail in the Cleveland, Tennessee area. Still continues to produce some big hail as it drops off to the south and east. There's a 2-inch report now that just came in. Surprised it took that long. All right, so and then we've got these 3 severe thunderstorms over here, still producing large hail. Let's go back to the Greer radar. We're just going to kind of run this one down here real briefly, and then we'll probably go ahead and end this live feed. Not a lot changing right now with these storms. They're all pretty consistently the same areas as they move fairly slowly. So here it is. Yeah, so again, not a lot of changes with this storm, and really, if any changes at all, dropping quarter-size hail. This storm's going to actually merge in. Potential that they could increase in intensity as they merge. We'll have to watch that closely, but still producing a lot of large hail. So that's it for our live feed, and I don't have a whole lot more to talk about again. So this main line right here will continue to pick up and increase with wind. This storm's going to continue to produce golf ball to 2-inch hail, and these storms over here in South Carolina also continue to produce golf ball size hail until sundown, and then after sundown they should begin to gradually weaken, and this line will be the main show for the rest of the night with high winds. So I hope you enjoyed the live weather feed. As always, if you have any questions, info@hailtrace.com. Send them in the chat. We're here to answer. We're here to talk with you guys, chat with you guys. We love weather, and we love chatting with you guys about it. So I hope you guys take care and have a great evening, and it looks like there's some money to be made tomorrow.